Sega confirms that the original Sonic 3 soundtrack is going to be absent from the upcoming Sonic Origins. Tisk, tisk, tisk.
Where's
Now,
Fly Me to the Moon?
well, I don't know if you know about the Sonic 3 soundtrack, but it's got an interesting rumor
I remember
surrounding.
the last time we covered it.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
So,
rumor.
It's not
well,
not a rumor.
well, it's I don't know. It's
It's
hard
got an
it's hard to
interesting
pin down,
confirmation.
but it's all but confirmed that Michael Jackson was the composer.
Well,
So
it
Sega
is
has
confirmed he was the composer, 100%. He was
Okay.
working on it, and then he got kicked
But
off
whether
of it.
yes.
So
Okay.
then
Let me
the
just
question is whether or not
because it's going to come up in the thing.
the question is whether or not the music
Whether
is
or
still,
not it found its way in, and things related to his estate made their way into the actual game in the soundtrack. So, Sega has sadly confirmed that their upcoming release of Sonic Origins, an updated collection of 4 of the Blue Blur's classic adventures, will not feature the original Sonic 3 soundtrack in its version of Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Sonic's gaming history has seen more than its fair share of peaks and troughs, but despite the questionable the decisions behind and quality of some of his recent outings, the music featured in in his titles has almost always been a point of high praise amongst fans. Unfortunately, Sega has begrudgingly admitted that Sonic Origins will release absent one of the series' most iconic soundtracks. Addressing the one question that we've seen kind of over and over is what is the situation on the music in Sonic 3 and Knuckles? During a recent Sonic centric live stream, Sonic social media manager I'm not even going to try it, Katie revealed that unfortunately, we can't use all of the original sounds from the Sega Genesis version of the game. Jun Senoue has been working really hard to adapt the original music that was composed in 1993 for Sonic Origins. To that end, they further noted that the composer, who was himself one of the original musicians who contributed to the soundtrack in question, has been going so far as reproducing it with the same sound chip from the Sega Genesis and using his own digital audio tape collection to make this like as faithful to the originals as possible.
Damn.
Though Katie declined to elaborate as to the reasons why the game's original soundtrack could not be used, it may have something to do with the long-standing rumor that the late King of Pop himself, Michael Jackson, composed some of the music heard in Sonic 3 and Knuckles. One popular theory is that while Jackson did contribute to the Sonic 3 soundtrack, Sega pulled his credits after dentist and screenwriter Evan Chandler filed a lawsuit claiming that the pop star had molested his son. Eventually, citing declining health and an increased use of painkillers, Jackson's lawyers elected to settle Chandler's case out of court. According to former Sega executive Roger Hector, Jackson's deal with the developer soon after fell apart, leading to his work being removed. While Sega have never officially confirmed the claims, Brad Buxer, Jackson's musical director, previously claimed that in 1993, Jackson had spent 4 weeks recording at Record One in Los Angeles for the project. According to him, Jackson's work on the game had finished around the time the allegations were made, but after finding that the Sega Genesis OPN2 sound chip could not replicate the music he created, asked to have his name removed from the credits. Buxer's claim was further supported by Doug Grigsby III and Chiroko Jones, both of whom were part of the 6-man team involved in developing Jackson's contributions to the soundtrack. Now, I don't know that this would be doable, but I bet you anything this game would sell out so fucking fast if they actually had the recordings, the real recordings, not the chip try to remake it recordings, the actual recordings of Michael Jackson's music, and they just put that into the remastered version instead.
What are the lyrics? Sonic, Sonic, yeah.
It's probably just, I don't think it probably had lyrics. It was probably just a score.
That's what I don't get. Like, how'd they get him to compose it?
Have you heard his music?
Okay, he was a huge Sonic fan. He
Oh,
actually
really?
went, he went to Sega and he did a tour because he worked on a game with them, uh, called Michael Jackson's Moonraker.
Oh, right.
And then so he
Oh.
went to Sega after. I don't know if it was. I'd assume it was after that. And then he met the Sonic development team.
Dude, if you
And
heard the music in Michael Jackson's Moonwalker,
Moonraker.
Moonraker, right? Is it?
Pretty sure. Pretty
Sure,
sure.
it's Moonraker.
I don't know. That's the one. That's the one where he's saving the kidnapped children.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Oh no.
Dude,
Hold
just
on.
watch. They
It is Moonraker.
re-release that game and remove just the music.
Anyway, so but yeah, like if you've heard the way that wait a minute, hold up. Is it Moonraker? Moonwalker. It is Moonwalker. I was right.
Is it?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, Moonwalker. Right there. See?
Yep.
If you heard the music, like it plays like what is it? Smooth Criminal in this level. And it's like if you heard this, there's the kid he's saving. If you heard this, you should know that whatever you're producing for Sonic wasn't gonna translate well. Anyway, so what were you saying?
Just that. So he
He was a fan.
worked with them, and then he was a fan, and he wanted to do it. And from my understanding, he even like, I don't remember if he asked them or whatever. But anyway, he was at the offices, and they got into working together. So that's how he got on the project. How he left is obviously up for contention.
Mhm.
They don't really. One person says, "Oh, he didn't like the chip," which is a little bit dubious since he already worked on the other songs with Moonwalker.
Yeah.
And then the other side of it is, well, the controversy. They just wanted it gone. So.
You remember how bad the FMVs in that era were from like PlayStation 1 and N64? I just imagine that type of audio with his music. It's like, does he really want it to sound like it's coming out of a friggin' drive-through speaker or what?
Well, I mean, Genesis was a whole generation earlier too, right?
Yeah.
I know, but if he was expecting that, at best,
Because
it's
well,
like
actually, here's the thing. This is actually really plausible because Michael Jackson's Moonwalker was an arcade game ported.
Yeah.
So when in the arcade, it probably retained the music way better, and that's what he was used to. So when it came to the actual Sega console, and it had that chipset, that actually makes a lot of sense. Don't you agree?
Yeah, it could be. I don't know what his I mean there's a long history of it online. I forget who did it, but someone, I think it was the gaming historian, someone did it where they went into like all of the shit. And someone also, well, this is not the gaming historian, but someone else contacted Buxer. So a lot of this information came from just random people on the internet contacting people that worked on the games to figure out how to figure out that it was in fact true that Michael Jackson worked on it, because like you said, it was a rumor like a long time ago, but that was 10 years ago. Now it's basically confirmed. And yeah, so he might have. I think it's plausible that he worked on the arcade version, which would have had better sound presumably, and then didn't have much say on the Genesis port. But either way, that is what got him into the Sega thing to get him on Sonic.
So it says whether Jackson was involved or not, these three, along with fellow sound team members, Bobby Brooks, Daryl Ross, and Jeff Grace. What are the coincidences here? You've got a GG and a BB, right? And these fake names now were the ones who ultimately received the credit for Sonic 3's soundtrack. Some fans have even drawn comparisons. I just checked this out. It does sound pretty close between certain Sonic 3 tracks and Jackson's own musical stylings, such as Carnival Night Zone and Jam, Azure Lake Zone and Black or White, and Ice Cap Zone and Smooth Criminal. Notably, the game's minor boss theme also seemed to sample Jackson's iconic "Woo." Interestingly, though, some Sonic 3 tracks have made appearances in other games, with the tunes for the Angel Island and Hydro City zones in particular making an appearance in Sonic Mania. However, these uses may have been spared of any legal red tape due to them not being original tracks themselves, but rather remixes. And again, that sounds like what's happening here, where they're trying to recreate them as best they can by recreating them versus using them. I don't know. To make matters worse, listings for the original versions of the 4 games featured in Origins, Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Sonic CD, and Sonic 3 and Knuckles, were removed from digital stores on May 20th. As such, aside from digging the actual cartridges out of your closet, the only way for players to experience Sonic 3 with its original soundtrack is to score a secondhand copy of one of Sega's previous 7 Sonic the Hedgehog collection releases.
Okay, that's kind of dumb. Well, first of all, yes, it was re-released multiple times with the audio. Although notably, the first PC port that like you would never buy because it probably doesn't work on Windows anymore, had its own soundtrack already back then.
Yeah,
like
that was
the 90s.
The ME release. That's how I played it, actually.
Yeah, that release had its own soundtrack.
Yeah,
for whatever reason, I don't know why.
I wonder if all the way back then that the issues were way closer to the source of the issues, like back then that they
it would be weird though that it would be an issue and then not be an issue for so many years and then become an issue again.
I don't know,
because they did re-release it multiple times. But I mean, if anyone wants to play this, the on Steam, when you were buying it on Steam, you were buying a ROM and just playing it in their emulator. Like, it's not like the fucking game's lost forever. It's not like Star Wars.
But it is nice. It is nice that they updated it to be 16:9 or whatever, instead of 4:3 and all that.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean,
if you get on PC, you can mod the music.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. But also, I don't know if it says in this thing, but there is a songs pack, which I don't know what the fuck that is.
That's right. There was that. I forgot about that.
They did it to sell it to you as DLC.
I mean, if it is that, if it's like, listen, as I'm going to get to this. I don't think it's Michael Jackson that's holding this up, but anyway, if it is Michael Jackson's estate, that's from the grave. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we don't like the song or whatever in the thing. Fine. Give us the proceeds of the DLC, and then fine, we'll let you. Like, why not? That would just make sense. But I actually don't think it's Michael Jackson that's holding everything up. I think it's Bruxter guy, whatever the fuck his name is. I don't know. Buxer? It's the guy mentioned in this article.
Yeah.
Because he also had songs, because he was working with Michael Jackson on the game, and he worked on some of the songs that are in the game. And like you can do the same thing with Michael Jackson's songs, where like, this is very clearly that sample and all this stuff. They did the same thing with one of Brad Buxer's songs as well. And so it'd be very interesting to see exactly what song titles they've redone for Origins, because I don't think the full track list is put out of like which songs are going to be changing. And then once that comes out, it will be very clear if it was Michael Jackson or Brad Buxer that was holding it up. But hopefully they make it sound, not as the Windows ME one sounded absolutely trash. So hopefully it's just better than that. Yeah. And maybe we can hope for the DLC of like the original tracks.
Well, time will tell.
In worst case, just mod it.
Yeah.